I am Fridge. Welcome to episode something of What If Civilization Started Over. At the end of the last episode, we saw the Civil War over here in Indonesia break out, and we will be seeing more of the Civil War. So we will see the military of Indonesia start to push back against the rebels. So they will start pushing over here, and they'll even push down over here, and they get pretty far in. In fact, they almost managed to cut off the levels from up here from the ones down here. However, they don't quite finish that, as the rebels will push back a little bit. Meanwhile, over here, the rebels over here will push out and capture this major city here, and they will also push up over here and capture some of this area over here. Also, I need to update the major cities over here. There should be like a few up here, probably. And like maybe some more on this island here. But anyways, we will see Indonesian forces also make landings on these islands here and capture them, and also start a push back and over here. Getting close to this major city here. In fact, they'll even push up over here and capture all this area. And these provinces over here, these ones here, will actually still there's a problem happening. I see the problem. These provinces over here were actually still loyal. They were just being occupied by the rebels, but these ones over here stayed loyal to the government, the main government. So when they push in over here, these areas quickly fight back against the rebels. However, back over here, the orange is pushing back. In fact, they pushed the military all the way out of this area here, and they are soon pushing out over here. And they start to push in further over here, taking this area here. Meanwhile, back over here, things not going well for them, as they continue to lose land. Losing this major city now, and even this major city is captured. And eventually over here, the rebels collapse. And this area is back under the control of the main government. Back over here, though, things are still not going well for the rebels, as they are being murdered. So these are different colors. Fix this. And actually, I liked the other one more, I think. But anyways, they have now pushed over here, connecting up with the rebels over here. And soon after, this area here will completely fall over to the control of them. Up in the north as well, they are having a lot of success as they take all of this land here. However, back down here, Indonesia will push back over here. And now, this civil war is kind of at a stalemate. We'll talk more about it later on. But for now, let's head back down over here, where Papua New Guinea is doing most of the work against the yellow country, as the red country is busy being murdered by the green one. In fact, the red country is going to lose even more land in the yellow country as they get pushed back a bit down over here. And the green country is going to completely surround the capital. Meanwhile, down here, the gray country will begin to push back against the green country again, pushing them back over here. However, as they push back over here, the green country is going to make a landing down over here in this major city and capture it. That is the long shade of green. And then push further in over here. Up here, this one is nothing's happening. Anyways, though, moving away from that area now, we'll be heading over to this country here, who is about to die, and who is going to kill them? Where? Well, it'll be none other than the Caucasus Union, who is going to send troops into them and start pushing, and they quickly get to the capital. They also push in over here, though, and they will surround the capital before taking it. And they'll continue to push in over here, now pushing down over here. And, well, Caspia would join this war, but they are still incredibly weak after World War III. This major city will be captured. And, well, rest in peace this country, as we are going to see the Caucasus Union fully annex them. Now, why did they invade this country? Well, they didn't really have much of a reason. They just felt like it. You can give them a reason in the comments if you want to. However, heading down to the red country, we're going to see this country also expand, as they are going to invade the pink country over here. And to justify this invasion, they're going to stage a explosion somewhere on the border. And in this explosion, citizens of the red country will die. However, they will frame this explosion on the pink country here, and they will then invade this country, quickly pushing in and getting to the capital pretty quickly and capturing it. And this pink country will die, as the last remains of Yoyoland are dead. With that, they'll be Foya next, and the red country expands. Remember when the red country owned like all of this as well? Not that, but like, they owned like part. They didn't own all of that, but they owned part of that. They might have owned. They owned part of that, but I don't know if they owned all of it. And they owned like some of this southern land, but not that much. They also owned this at one point, and at one point they owned this. And they also owned like half of this country at one point. Well, not half, but like, they owned like a good chunk of it at one point. But anyways, the red country expands. Sorry. Anyways, though, we can now remove the capital of the pink country. This country here, who will also be expanding, as they are going to go ahead and invade this country here. And they don't give a reason for why they're doing it. They just want land, so they invade this country here. And as they invade this country, another country will get involved. That being Belka, who also get invade this country. They will send troops in and basically take the capital within a day because, well, all the troops of this country are already up here. And, yeah. What is going on with the tolerance? The tolerance is already, like, all the way down, and yet it's still being annoying. Anyways, this country is going to die. And we can look at a peace treaty. Anyways, here we have the peace treaty, in which the country here is gone. And, actually, Belka got most of the land, and the blue country got, like, a few provinces, which the blue country is not happy about. They think that they should have gotten more. They think they should have gotten, like, all of that country. And they are mad at Belka. However, they're not going to do anything about it, because if they were to invade this country, then none of their allies would come to help them, because they're the one who started it. Now, if they were to get invaded, then their allies would help them out. But, also because if they were to invade Belka, then they would collapse, because, well, this country's not that stable, and, they'd be busy focusing over here to focus on the rebellions. Because the reason why this country hasn't collapsed yet is because they're just bombing the houses out of anyone who tries to. So everyone's scared to. But if they were busy fighting a country that's stronger than them, then that could lead to the people rebelling. But anyways, though, enough of that. We will be heading over to this blue country here, who is collapsing. As we see over here, let me find a good color for this. Over here, we see a rebellion break out. That starts off small, but quickly, a lot more of these provinces over here join. And this is because, well, these provinces here used to be part of this country here. And, well, that country is not really going to do anything because they can't. But these provinces, they don't want to be part of the blue country. And also, the blue country's capital is all the way over here. And that's also causing problems over here. That's encouraging the collapse. So we will see a lot of these provinces go ahead and join this. However, that's not the only group we're going to see. We're going to see another group break out up here. And if that wasn't bad enough, we're going to see another group pop up right here. And this group will also gain popularity pretty quickly as they take all of these provinces here. Now this red one is the weakest, and these two are pretty strong. So the blue one is going to quickly wipe out this red one here. In fact, they're already dead. Meanwhile, though, these other two are going to expand into the blue country, taking more and more land from it. And this is not good for the blue country. And, well, as they get invaded, or as they break apart, we're going to see even more areas start to break away, as, well, they don't want to be part of the blue country because it's collapsing. So over here, we will see this orange country here break away. And the blue country sees that if this continues on, just more parts are going to break away. So they're going to let these two areas, along with this area, have their independence. But these two areas want more land. So they are going to say, so they will continue to take land here, with the green one pushing in over here, taking more and more land. In fact, they push up into where the red country used to be. Meanwhile, this one will push over here. And eventually, after they take some more land, these countries will sit down with the blue country, but not before another area goes ahead and takes advantage of the blue country's collapse. That one being this area right here, and they're a bit close to this color. Let me switch the color. That's better, I guess. But this area will break away as well. And following the breakaway of this country, some people in the blue country are not going to like how the leader is treating this, and they're going to assassinate the leader. And, well, the new leader is going to give these countries, these breakaways, exactly what they want. Independence, and independence with whatever land they want. So now we can look at how this is going to end up. So here we have the results in which these four areas all got their independence. And they need the capitals. But this is the land they all got. And capital-wise, capital cities will be there, and there. And this blue country, while their war between the breakaways is over, they are still incredibly unstable. And we'll talk about that in the next episode. For now, though, we will be heading over to these two Denmark and Wales, who are going to be expanding, and they have two countries in mind that they're going to be invading. Those countries are none other than the former Nordic Union countries of Norway and Sweden. So we're going to see this start with Denmark invading into Sweden. And they will quickly take these provinces here. However, Sweden will push back against Denmark a bit, and Norway will join this war to help them out. But this is what Denmark wanted, as after Norway joins, Wales will also join, and they already had ships ready for this. So they are going to quickly make landings inside of Norway. Let me turn the tolerance up a bit. They're going to quickly make landings in Norway and start to take some of this land, taking these three major cities pretty quickly and getting close to the capital. With this, Norway is going to have to pull back to deal with this, which will lead to Denmark pushing further back into, the tolerance is being annoying, into Sweden, getting close towards the capital, and even pushing up over here and taking this major city. And Denmark, they've been increasing the military a lot between every episode. Meanwhile, though, Wales, which is a top 10 power, is outside the capital of Norway, and they are also sending troops to take other major cities like this one up here, and this one over here, which these two major cities have been taken. And things not looking good for Norway, as their capital will be surrounded, and this major city will be taken. Over back in Sweden, Denmark will push up and capture this major city, and they are also outside the capital of Sweden. However, Sweden and Denmark are pretty equally matched, so there will be some... What happened there? So there will be some pushback from Sweden as they push the Danish back to there. Meanwhile, their ally in Norway is getting murdered by Wales, who is now pushing towards this major city here. And while the capital has been able to hold out for quite a while, it will eventually fall. And a spearhead will begin towards this major city and capture it. This major city will be captured, and Norway is looking like this now, as the troops of Wales are now on the border with Sweden, and when they get to the border with Sweden, they will go ahead and enter into Sweden, with them pushing in and taking this major city from Sweden pretty quickly. Meanwhile, back down here, Denmark will surround the capital of Sweden, kind of like what Wales did to Norway, or exactly like that, I guess. They will also take this area over here, and they will start pushing up back towards this major city, which Wales is pushing down towards, and the two will meet up in this major city. The capital of Sweden will fall, and a push towards this major city will begin. And after a bit of fighting, this major city will fall, following which both Norway and Sweden will surrender, and we can look at the peace treaty of this war. So here we have the peace treaty, in which Wales will take a good chunk of land from Norway. While Norway kept most of the land, a lot of the valuable land was taken. Let me fix these islands quickly. Sweden also lost some land to Denmark, who is reforming their empire now. They didn't have land over here before, but now they have land over here. And they don't really want their borders to be exactly how they were back with the old empire. They just want land. But anyways, both of these countries are going to move their capitals, so going to the capital layer, Sweden will be moving their capital to the old capital of the Nordic Union, so up here, and Norway will be moving their capital to this major city here. So now, the capitals of Sweden and Norway are pretty close to each other. So yeah. And Sweden and Norway, obviously they fought together in this war. They still hold close relations. They also hold good relations with Finland. However, Finland is kind of moving away, as they have better relations with these three countries over here than they do with these two. And none of these countries really share any relations with Greenland. In fact, Greenland doesn't really share relations with any country in the world. They're kind of just doing their own thing up here. So they don't have a capital. Let me fix that. Their capital will be... Should I put it here or here? I'm going to put it in the second one. So it will be right here. And as for this country here, it doesn't like any of these three countries here, because they used to be part of the North Union. They used to be a colony of it, and they got their independence after World War III. And they, while the North Union didn't treat them as bad as some of the other colonizers did, they didn't treat them as good as some of the other colonizers, specifically Ugal, which is now part of Portugal, and Ireland, which is dead. Well, actually, Ireland had the civil war that ended with them changing them to Wales, because Wales, they had the part of Wales over here. You know what? Just go watch old episodes if you want to understand that. Anyways, though, continuing on, though, we will now be heading over to back down over here, where the landing that was made here, the Grey Country is going to push back against it. Now, they won't be able to push it completely out, but as they push back against that, the Green Country pushes further in over here. Up here in the Red Country, they will hold out in their capital. However, the Green Country will push a bit further down over here and capture these islands over here. And Papua New Guinea, seeing what's happening to the Red Country, they are going to send a lot of forces down over here to connect back up with them. However, this will cost them some land over here in the Yellow Country. Meanwhile, the Grey Country, they are going to pull even more troops back to go deal with the Green Country, which is going to lead to them getting pushed back a bit more over here. Anyways, heading back up over here, this is still at a stalemate. However, that's about to change, as we're going to see another country get involved. That being the Southeast Asian Empire, who will send troops into this area here, as they made a deal with the rebellion that they could have some of the provinces over here in return if they helped out. So they will quickly invade over here and push in, after which their troops will come out over to help the rebellion, who will push along over here, pushing along the coast, getting close towards this major city, which they will capture. And they will then get close towards the capital, which they will capture, following which this civil war will be won. And, well, this area goes and joins up with it. But the color will remain the old color, because, well, that's the color of Indonesia. So we can recolor everything to that. So there we go. However, the capital will be moved from, what's the capital layer? From its current capital to the major city in the middle of Borneo, as that was the capital of the revolution. With that, I need to put a major city where the old capital was. All of the capitals of older countries are missing major cities where they should be, or where they used to be. So, like, Indonesia, for example, and some other countries. I wonder if Korea has theirs. Korea's is marked. China has all of theirs marked because, well, China's changed a lot. What about down here? Does the Red Country have this? The Red Country does. Okay, I think that most of them have those now. I know that the old capital of the Paint Country wasn't marked until I moved their capital, because it's just that old. Really, if the country wasn't a breakaway, then... if the country was not a breakaway, like, if people moved to an unclaimed area and formed a country there at the beginning, then chances are the capital will not be marked. Wait, what about... Oh, Cyprus doesn't have those. I found one that doesn't have the capital marked. We can fix that. Oh, and Crimea's is also not marked. Wait, what about the, Okay, the orange countries is marked, but Crimea's is not marked. Now it is. Anyways, though, this episode is going to end here, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.